You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, but you can. Hey, welcome to the You're Not Gonna Make It podcast, where I discuss topics that make it feel like the human race isn't gonna make it. These range from fitness to tech to other things, but what they all have in common is that people are suffering from them, and you don't have to. Usually I try to focus on something that relates to mental health and physical health. So first up, we're doing something related to mental health, and this is Phubbing, which is, I'm assuming, short for phone snubbing, as in snubbing other people to be on your phone. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this. If you're under 50 years old, you've probably seen this. Hell, even if you're 60 or 70, you might have seen this. It's when you're all in a group, you have some friends, you're with one friend, two friends, five friends. There's going to be multiple situations where basically everyone is just next to each other on their phones, not talking to each other, just on their phones. And it's really odd. Now, I used to be one of those people too. You know, you hang out with friends a bunch of the time, you're on your phone next to each other, just on your phone doing just completely separate things. But in recent months, last year or so, I've gone under some changes in my relationship with technology and my phone specifically. I no longer use my phone as a crutch for when I'm bored for 5 seconds, which I'm happy to say. My phone is in my pocket most of the time, or it's on the floor. Like right now, as I'm recording this, that shit is over there somewhere. As a result, me not being on my phone all the time, I can notice when people are on theirs all the time. And when I'm in a group, let's say I'm at an event or a gathering, man, people are just on their phones all the time, as opposed to speaking to people right next to them. And I'm not saying, hey, you got to talk to these strangers, just be social, blah, blah. And I'm not saying that. If you hate these people or if you have to be there for some reason, for work or something, you don't have to care about those people. Fuck them. You don't have to speak to them at all. What I am saying is, if you are with your friends, you come over, you visit your friend, and 80% of the time you guys are just sitting next to each other on your phones, not interacting, that's a huge fucking problem. Needless to say, that is a huge problem. But even if it's needless, I will say so. Now, this isn't necessarily new. Teenagers have been at their phones at the dinner tables for years, right? But what is new is how many people are doing this now. And you're having people who are 40, 50, grown adults, they're doing this too. And everyone's doing it way more often than they ever have. Seriously, go to a restaurant with friends. Dude, half the time, people will be on their phones, not talking to each other. Not even eating sometimes, just on their phones. Now, I foresee this getting worse and worse due to the rise of AI and chatbots. I can see many people, instead of talking to their friend next to them, they'll talk to their AI chatbot. They'll talk to Omega Siri or whoever it is at that time. Because they know everything. They can be whoever you want them to be. And since everyone will be ignoring each other, everyone will be socially fucking stupid. And they won't want to talk to each other anyway. I mean, why would you want to talk to Chris over there? He's awkward. I'm just gonna talk to my phone. Unknowingly becoming more awkward myself. So I feel there's gonna come a point where everyone is just talking to AI on their phones and not talking to each other. And that cycle will continue because if everyone's talking to AI and not each other, they'll have no experience talking to other people. As is the case now, with a lot of people being kind of awkward because they're used to just communicating via phone, via text, via short form video, whatever. You ever notice that people don't make that much eye contact these days? It's just, they don't feel too comfortable looking at something that's not their phone. It's kind of weird. So this will get worse. This will definitely get worse And basically, I feel like at a certain point in time, no one's going to talk to anybody. We're all just going to talk to our phones. Or if we talk to other people, we're going to talk to them via our phones only, even if we're next to them. Now, it's okay if you're talking to someone via phone if you're not near them, because obviously that's what phones are for. They're for communication. But if they're near you, man, don't get to the point where you're texting someone next to you. Just don't do that. Or do it if you want to, but if you do, I don't think you're going to make it. And you know this is getting bad when I am complaining about this, because if you don't know, I'm someone who does not really like to go outside. I'm not going to go out somewhere new and just meet new people for no reason. That's not my thing. I don't care to do that. But even I am noticing the dissolution of, is that what you say when things dissolve? The deterioration of society in terms of communication. It's happening at a rapid pace. It is very insane. People aren't even paying attention to each other if they're part of the same family, if they live together. It's still the case where people are just on their phones next to each other. Now, I'm not saying that if two people like each other and they happen to be next to each other, they have to throw their phone out the window. Not what I'm saying, of course. What I am saying is, if you're next to someone and you like them, maybe don't spend 80% of the time next to them on your phone while they do the same. Because at that point, one of you guys should just go home. And apparently this is becoming more common, this phubbing. I don't like the term phubbing, phone snubbing, just call it being an asshole. Now, let's try to flip this. How can you recover from this? How can you avoid this? How can you make it from this? Well, an easy thing would be to put away the fucking phone. That's what I do. That's what I do. Sometimes it is that simple. Just keep your phone in your pocket. And when your phone's in your pocket and it makes a noise, don't necessarily go straight for the phone. In fact, I would highly recommend you take a lot of time out. Doesn't take that much time, but go through your apps. First of all, delete apps you don't actually need. Secondly, go through notifications and be aggressive with it. Be a notification Nazi. Genocide anything you do not need. I'm talking there should only be notifications from communication apps or reminders, as in the calendar, and you have a delivery coming, maybe. Email if you want. I personally have email turned off. I'll just check it manually if I need to. Messages or calls. And you can even go a step further. You can limit the notifications to messages and calls from specific people, like family or close friends. I don't know if iPhones can be specific with those notification settings, but I don't really care about iOS users, so it's okay. I'm kidding. Kind of. I mean, really, if your phone can't allow you to manage your notifications, then you should get a new phone. Otherwise, that phone will be the boss of you. So to avoid that happening, leave your phone in your pocket. Better yet, when you're home, leave it with your keys and wallet. That way you won't just grab it, because it won't be right in your pocket for you to grab. And thirdly, or fourthly, whatever I'm at, just don't be an asshole. Just notice when you're spending time with someone how often you're actually ignoring each other. Really think about it. If you guys have been next to each other for 45 minutes and you've been on your respective phones the whole time, just go home. Because there's nothing happening there. So just go home. And if you don't, you're not going to make it. Simple as that. So let's move on to a physical health topic. Apathy, or maybe I should say health apathy. Now, this is something that most people will get upset about if they hear it. But imagine this. Picture this. There's a person standing on the edge of the roof of a building. They're going to jump. Now, a bunch of people on the ground floor outside, they'll be saying, "Oh my God, that person's going to jump. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the fire department. I'm going to call somebody, right? This is a big deal. Someone's going to fucking kill themselves. That's a big deal. We don't want that." Now, think of another person. Picture this. Picture another person. They're smoking, eating a bunch of donuts, drinking a lot. And what do we say? That's cool, man. That's super cool. But if you think about it, it's the same exact thing. It's just that one of them has a different time frame on it. The guy in the building, he's going to kill himself in about 4 seconds. The guy with all that shitty consumption is going to kill himself in 40 years. Hey, I mean, 40 years is a decently long time, but it could be way longer if, you didn't kill yourself prematurely that way. But nobody cares about that guy consuming all this shit. Not until they actually get diabetes or cancer, whatever it is. Nobody cares until it's a bit too late or you have to pay a lot. When it's a real big deal, that's when people care. But on the way there, it doesn't matter too much. But if you think about that example of the guy in the building, if that guy is walking up all those stairs to go to the building, imagine he told someone, hey, I'm going to go up this building and kill myself. While he's walking up the stairs, people would be like, hey, stop, don't do that, please, don't do that. Whereas the guy eating a bunch of fucking Twinkies all day, no one's going to say shit until the doctor says, hey, man, you're going to die next year if you don't stop. So it's this weird thing, this apathy people have with their health. If it's not urgent, then it's not important. That's what most people think. Hey, if you're not bleeding out, it's not that important. If smoking caused you to bleed out of your nose, I think people would care a lot more. It would be a much bigger deal. But since these things take a while to kill you, these causes of death via consumption, like, smoking, drinking, eating a bunch of garbage, if it were more obvious that it was harmful, then people would care more, but it's not. It's not. You can do these things for years and years and decades, and you won't quite die. Therefore, people don't really care. It's kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing. Oh, hey, you're not bleeding. You're not dying before my eyes. It's cool, man. But if someone starts cutting their wrist, then, hey, stop, please stop. But, one of them's faster than the other, but these things are both suicide, It's not great. And the worst part about this apathy is that it comes from within. It comes from you. I mean, unless you're getting force-fed junk food, which, that's quite a nifty situation you've got yourself in. But beyond that, most people are doing this to themselves. And it's a big reminder that not everything that kills you is foreign or instant. Sometimes you're the problem. You're the one killing yourself. You're the one tying that noose. It's just very slow and a very, very long noose. So you're falling for quite a while before your neck breaks. But it's still an issue. So what can you do about it? How can you make it? Well, one thing, just be more aware. Legitimately know what you're doing to yourself, period. And then you can judge it as harmful. Because if you don't know what you're doing to yourself, you don't recognize it, then it doesn't matter what you think about it because you don't know what's happening. And just think, like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Now, some people might say, yeah, it's totally worth it, dude. I'm going to die 30 years earlier than I should, but man, I'm loving this shit. I'm loving it. I'm just I love all this diabetes. It's amazing. I love it. You know what? Go for it. If you truly understand what you're doing and you are okay with that diminished lifespan, but you think it's higher quality, then you know what? Fucking go for it. But if you're not dumb and you understand that all this shit is bad, I recommend doing it less or not at all. And I say doing it less because there are some things you can do that are kind of fun. Eating sweets is kind of okay, It'll kill you if you do it excessively, but, here and there, that's okay. Because think about it like this. Now I'm going to cope because I love pastries. 1 year is 365 days. Let's say you eat, I don't know, cake one day, right? That's 1 out of 365. That's less than 30% of a day. So over the course of the year, that's like 0.029 or something like that, right? That ain't going to kill you. It's when that percentage becomes, hey, I'm eating fucking trash 43% of the year. Yeah, you're going to die. You're going to die. So that's what I mean. Think about it like that. Your body isn't that fragile. You know, if you accidentally sniff some secondhand smoke from some guy in the street, you're not gonna die right away. That's like one breath out of thousands, maybe millions. You're not gonna die, but you know, if it's a habit of yours, yeah, you're gonna die. So pick and choose what you want. Are these certain habits worth that reduced lifespan? If so, fucking go for it. If you understand that they're not, change it. And if you don't, you're not gonna make it. All right, that wraps it up. If you want to talk shit to me, because I don't drink, leave a comment or a bad review. If you want to learn about more stuff that's going to prevent you from making it, subscribe to the podcast. Whether you liked it or didn't like it, I will see you next time. You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. But you can.